The last category of mad caused by sukun is al-mad al-lazim, the compulsory mad. هو أن يقع سكون أصلي بعد حرف المد في كلمة أو في حرف. It occurs when an original sukun is positioned after mad letter in a word or letter. It is important to note the word original sukun, okay, because we have talked about a presented or temporary sukun previously. When there is a temporary or presented sukun appearing before mad letter, then maddul arid lissukun is formed. If there is also a presented sukun appearing before mad letter which is preceded by fatha vowel, then al-maddul is formed, and we mentioned that it is a presented or a temporary sukun because the reader decided or chose to pause or stop on those letters. Here, when an original sukun, the word itself is formed with this sukun. It is not a temporary, it is not employed, or there is no you are not deciding to stop or pause on a particular letter having an original vowel, but then the word itself, whether a word or letter, it has an original sukun which is part of the formation of the word or the letter. So when it then occurs after mad letter, whether in a word or letter, the maddul lazim is formed. It is from these that we are able to arrive at the two divisions of maddul lazim, which are al-maddul lazim kalmi, when the mad is found in a word, and al-maddul lazim harfi, when it is found in a letter. These two divisions also further have two subdivisions. For maddul lazim kalmi, it has maddul lazim kalmi mukhaffaf and maddul lazim kalmi muthaqqal. Maddul lazim harfi also have two subdivisions, which are maddul lazim harfi muthaqqal and maddul lazim harfi mukhaffaf, and we are going to discuss them further bi'idhnillah. The first subdivision of maddul lazim kalmi is al-maddul lazim kalmi muthaqqal, the compulsory heavy lengthening. هو أن يأتي بعد حرف المد سكون أصلي مدغم مشدد في كلمة. It also occurs when an original sukun which is merged, okay, and having a shadda symbol. The letter is then having a shadda symbol on it. في كلمة, in a word. It is called muthaqqal, heavy lengthening, because it is merged into the next letter after it, and the lengthening is measured with 6 vowel counts. We have examples to explain the original sukun in the word. In the word الذكرين, we can see that the letter dhal here comes after mad letter. This is the mad letter. The mad letter is that which appears after the hamza, okay. The alif and lam there will be non-effective because the letter that comes after them is having shadda. So when we split the shadda out, it means we have two identical letters, because shadda means it is a term used for two identical letters, of which the first one is having sukun and the next one is having a vowel. Now looking at the example here, after splitting the word dhakaron, you can see that the first dhal is having sukun and the second dhal is having vowel. So the first dhal having sukun there is that we are referring to as the original sukun, which comes after mad letter, and the mad letter is the one that comes after the hamza here. Then we have to prolong it for 6 vowel counts. Okay, and okay, yes, we said sometimes it could be accompanied with gunna, and sometimes it may not be accompanied with gunna. It is just important to know that when there is merging, then maddul lazim kalmi muthaqqal is formed. In the second example here, al-haqqah, okay, we can see that the qaf having shadda here comes after mad letter, and when splitting it, you can see that the first qaf is having sukun and the second qaf is having vowel. We have to lengthen it for 6 vowel counts. Al-haqqah, okay, and the same thing in the last example here. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Okay, I also have another example where the lengthening is accompanied with gunna. I think we can find that in Surah 2 Al-Zumar verse 64. Allah says, قُلْ أَفَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ تَأْمُرُونِّي أَعْبُدُ. Okay, تَأْمُرُونَ. You can see there is gunna. تَأْمُرُونَ. Okay, so that is also maddul lazim kalmi muthaqqal. And the next one is maddul lazim kalmi mukhaffaf, which is just direct opposite of muthaqqal, where the letter is not when the original sukun is not merged and it is not accompanied with gunna. It is light, it is the compulsory light lengthening, and it is mukhaffaf because it is not merged, it is not accompanied with gunna, and it is also to be lengthened for 6 vowel counts. However, this occurs just in 2 places in the Quran, in Surah Yunus. Al-ana wa qad asayta. You can see here that the lam here is having sukun, and that is the original sukun we are talking about, which comes after mad letter, and the mad letter is that comes after the hamza, and the next letter that comes after the lam is not an identical letter with lam. It is a different letter, and it is practically impossible to merge the letter into the next letter. You cannot merge lam into the hamza, nor merge hamza inside lam, so it is not possible, and that is why the lam will just be pronounced lightly. Okay, the lam is going to be pronounced lightly. Al-ana wa qad asayta. We also have it in another verse in the same surah, الآن وقد كنتم به تستعجلون. The second arm of Maddul Lazim, which is Maddul Lazim Harfi, the compulsory lengthening in a letter. The compulsory lengthening in a letter. It is interesting that some chapters in the Quran began with some letters of the Arabic alphabet, and these letters are just 14 in numbers. It is not every Arabic alphabet that began a particular surah or some surahs in the Quran. We have just 14 different letters that begins some surah in the Quran, and these letters are found in the phrase نص حكيم قاطع له سر, that is Nun, Sod, Ha, Kaf, Ya, Mim, Qaf, okay, and Alif, Ta, Ain, Lam, Ha, Sin, and Ra. So those are the 14 letters, and these letters are divided into 4 groups as well. And that which has no mad, and that is Alif. Alif cannot be prolonged in any way. It is not read as Alif, no, but Alif. That which has a mad of 2 counts, and they are also used in the phrase Hayya Tuhrin. We only prolong them just for 2 counts. That is Ha, like Ha Mim in Ha Mim, like Ya in Yasin, like Ta in Taha, like Ha in Kaf Ha Ya, Kaf Ha Ha, okay, like Ra in Alif Lam Ra Ra. So that is just how it is going to be. They are not to be prolonged beyond that. And that which has a mad of 6 counts, they are also used in the phrase Sanaqussu lakum. Sanaqussu lakum, like Sin, Noon, Qaf, Sad, okay, and Lam, Kaf, Mim. So these letters are prolonged for 6 vowel counts, and this group are categorized into 2 as well, and that is where our discussion centers on. That is that which a merging occurs and that which merging does not occur. There are 7 letters, and they are all to be prolonged for 6 vowel counts. The last division or the last category of the letters is that which is lengthened for 4 or 6 counts, and we have just one single letter, which is Al-Ain, in that it is a follower of Maddul Lim, because when we look at the spelling of Ain, the Ain is having Fatha, and the Ya, which is mad letter, is having Sukun. And we've already said that when we want to stop on a letter, we want to give a letter a temporary Sukun by stopping or pausing on it, of which that letter is preceded by harful maddi, and it is also preceded by vowel fatha vowel. So it then becomes maddul lim. So we can elongate it for 6 or 4 vowel counts. Now, on our discussion, the two divisions of Madul Lazim Harfi. The first one to be discussed here is Harfi Mukhaffaf. It occurs when a letter of the group Sanaqussu lakum, these are 7 letters, of which when we write the spelling out, these letters are spelt with 3-letter words. 3-letter words. Okay, and the third letter, which is having an original or a permanent sukun, is not merged with the next letter that comes after it. I hope this is clear. Like sin, if we spell sin out, we are going to be having sin, kesra C, yaw sukun C, and nun sukun again. You can say yaw madi, yaw with mad C, and nun with sukun. That is sin. You can see that the nun there is having sukun, and that nun is not merged with the next letter that comes after the nun in the spelling. Therefore, we are going to be having harfi mukhaffaf, because the letter is not merged with the next letter that comes after it. It is also to be measured with 6 vowel counts. We are going to understand this better in the examples below. In the first examples here, alif, lam, ra, we can see that we've already mentioned that alif is not to be lengthened at all. But lam, when we spell lam, okay, we have lam, fatha la, alif with mad, and mim with sukun. It is spelled here with English, okay, lam, lam. So this lam is to be prolonged for 6 vowel counts, because it is to be prolonged with 6 vowel counts, and it is going to be mukhaffaf because the meme that ends the spelling of lam is not merged with ra. Okay, so the alif is alif. There is no, okay, I think there is an error here. The alif is without maddi. The alif is only pronounced as alif, just alif, then lam, ra, ra. So ra is one of the letters previously mentioned that in Hayya Tuhri here, that it is to be given just 2 counts. It is just to be prolonged for 2 counts alone. Ra. Then ha, mim, ha. Ha is to be prolonged just for 2 counts, and mim is to be prolonged for 6 vowel counts. Okay, now looking at the last example here, kaf, kaf. Okay, the kaf, the faf in kaf in the spelling, you can see it here. It is having sukun. The fa, when we split it out, when we spell it out, you see that the fa is having sukun. Ka, ha, ya, ayn. Don't forget, we can prolong the ayn for 4 vowel counts or 6 vowel counts, whichever way is correct. Ayn, so, kaf, ha, ya, ayn, so, we also prolong the sword for 6 vowel counts. Now the last subcategory of Madul Lazim Harfi is Harfi al-Muthaqqal, the compulsory heavy lengthy in letters. Its letters are also found in the phrase Sanaqussu lakum. So it occurs when a letter of the group is also spelled out when written out, okay, and the last letter is merging into the next letter that comes after it. It is muthaqqal because it merges into what comes after it, and it is accompanied with ghunna. It is also to be prolonged for 6 vowel counts, and this is found in just one form in the Quran, that is alif lam mim. When we look at it, I have spelled it out. Looking at lam, the spelling of lam here, the mim here is having sukun, and the next mim, the next letter, the spelling of the next letter begins with mim. So it is possible for us to merge them together because they are identical, and when such thing occurs, it is to be accompanied with ghunna. I hope this is very clear. Then it is going to be read as alif lam mim. Okay, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge. Assalamu alaikum.